Hey family, welcome to the Future of Bodybuilding Podcast. This is the segment Untold Stories, one of my favorites. And today I got a special guest, as you know, is your host, Cut Nice 50 Baby. We introduces Kyle Sarg Jason. So you can call him Big Sarg. Born in Detroit, Michigan, 37 years old, married to a wonderful woman of 17 years. He has two beautiful daughters, 13 and 15 years old. His older daughter is in special needs. She has autism and facial paralysis. He is also a U.S. Army veteran of 6 years with 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. So he was medically retired from the Army in 2006. He recovered. At this time, he started working in Blackwater. This guy is all over the world, man. He's trying to serve his country, protect his family and friends. He is a true hero in my book. He was a survivor on season 32, which is where he met Sidney Gillian for the first time, and they've been friends ever since. True hero, like I said, I give him all my applause. I welcome him on to the program, and y'all stay tuned. It's my boy, Sarg. Let's get it started. What's going on, man?
How are you, man?
Good. Introduce yourself to the crowd.
I am Kyle Sarg Jason, and pay attention to that name. You'll see it around for a while.
There you go. So why they call you Sarg?
Call sign from the military, years of the military. It kind of stuck. It started with the private.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, you know, I love military. I'm a military family, so I appreciate your service, boss, and we're glad to have you here and with us still. You know, it's been a rough journey, but I'm gonna start off with this first question. Why did you start this fitness journey in bodybuilding and competing?
I mean, that's a kind of a two-parter. So I've kind of dedicated most of my adult life to my country, my community, my family, and never really did anything just for me.
Yes.
And I was on the look of doing something for me. And Sidney Gillian's actually a really close friend of mine. We were on Survivor together. So we've been kind of had a really deep, long friendship for about at least 7 years now.
Okay.
About a year ago, she called me and said, "Hey, you know, you ever think of competing?" And I've always been into bodybuilding and strongman, kind of just train a lot more in strongman and just enjoy getting big. And what can I lift? How can I be the biggest dude in the room? You know, just kind of the fun parts of lifting.
Yes, sir.
And you know, I had said I thought about it, but it would have to be on an extreme amateur level. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to even start. And she just kind of encouraged me, just do it. I'm putting on a show. You're the first person to really know about it. And I want you hesitantly, on a whim, I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. Not really everything you sign up for. Like,
oh yeah,
so much more to it than just, hey, I lift weights and then I pose on stage. And I guess it's probably good I didn't know that before I started.
Yeah.
I'm already in too deep. So I agreed, and she made some phone calls, gave me some phone numbers, and introduced me to people. And next thing you know, I had a coach, and then kind of had a whole team. And I got real lucky with my coach, and I really, really clicked. And he's super old school, so he doesn't give a lot of encouragement. He's a man of little words, but when the words of encouragement come, they hit 10 times harder than.
There you go. You're right about that. I mean, so you started off on a good note, because most people, like when I started, you know, like I say, military, I was a personal trainer. I'm a nutritionist on that side. That's my expertise. But I did it by myself. I ain't had a coach, you know what I mean? And I knew how to get in shape, because my stepdad, you know, long history of bodybuilding. I used to watch him compete too. And he was military, but he was on the shorter side. So he was like 5'4", if that, you know what I mean? They call them Pac-Mans. But I felt in the sport, you know, I loved it earlier. But I mean, you was put in a good place. So I know it still was overwhelming for you to hear a coaching, and now you got to eat a specific way. Because we used to, you like me, I wanted to power lift, to be the biggest guy in the room, the strongest guy in the room. I love lifting heavy. But the bodybuilding is a whole different ball game when you're in prep. So
completely.
Okay, so,
That's not even counting. You learned about prep, and it's a nightmare.
yes, sir.
But no, I
So,
got extremely lucky. John Simmons, he's my coach. He's also the coach of Drea Shaw, Miss Olympia.
mhm.
So I kind of fell into this team that has been nothing but a blessing to me.
Oh yeah. See, it is awesome, man.
I'm sure it was weird from day one because I just walked into his office like, I'm supposed to talk to you about training me. No, he looked at me funny, and he immediately he put me to the test. Like, okay, we're working out 7 days a week.
Oh yeah.
For an entire year. Like,
so you already started 7 days a week?
Oh yeah.
Jumping in. So yeah, I started 6 days. 7 days I do something, but 6 days, because I still was working full time trying to do all that. I couldn't squeeze 7 days until like the virus hit. I ended up building my home gym, so it was a little easier. So you didn't know anything about competing or prep before you started the competition prep or talking to Sid?
Not a thing. Not a thing.
How did you choose what divisions you was gonna do?
I kind of talked to Sydney once I started. I kind of talked to Sydney and said, "Where would you see me being?" And she had said a mix between bodybuilding and classic.
Yeah.
I've been lucky. I got some legs, man.
Yeah.
I got some tree trunks.
Oh yeah. You got some hams on there, man.
And then with my coach, he had said definitely. I definitely believe that you're in classic already. Yeah, we got to build the frame better. So we focused on that. And then as time progressed, he felt I was on that cusp of, you're eventually going to work yourself out of classic.
Yeah.
And into bodybuilding. So we started with in these two competitions with doing both to get the stage time for experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that when I am ready to make that real transition over, I'll already be familiar with it.
Yeah.
It won't be another culture shock new to me. You've already been there, man. Just keep going. This is where your home is.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're a brave guy, like I said, man, because myself, I couldn't do the trunks in bodybuilding. My wife, she want me to do it, but she still, I think, felt that type of way about me going on stage. You know what I mean? Some women are a little jealous, but still in them thongs.
It shames me every time. Like my daughter, I'll be practicing posing, and she'll come up and be like, oh.
And my daughter's 24, so you can imagine.
Totally fine.
She'll like watching probably, but just trying to get the striated glutes and stuff like that. I know I have to go harder if I want to, and I can do it. I just don't want to get that big no more. Like, cause my max weight when I started the powerlifting, I got up to like 365. People don't understand that. So I got to trick my body because I'm protein sensitive. I can't eat 8 ounces a meal a day, or my weight automatically go up without anything else. I just changed my meals, eating 8 ounces, no protein, no other supplements. My weight will jump past 250, just naturally, because I'm naturally made to be big. But my legs don't grow until I'm like over 265. And I don't want to ever get that heavier like that again, just to grow some legs. So I said, well, I can slowly build them. I'm always battling against myself, and I just like to challenge the bodybuilding, man. So classic being my frame, men's physique, I just don't. I like watching it. I like most of the athletes, and I know them because they train at the same gym, Madhouse, with me. I just don't like their posing routines because they don't really pose.
There's like 4.
Yeah, that's it. In some shows, and especially in the amateur, they cut you off quick. They don't even let you they don't want you doing no transitions. You can make it look a little better with the transitional poses. They take front, back, and that's it.
Show that side there for a minute.
That's it.
Right. They'll cut them off. They'll be, no, give them their spot. Give them their.
Yeah, that's it. You don't prep for this long. Let me do what I want to do. I had a show, I tell you, my first one's because I did men's physique. I don't think I stepped to classic until last year. I did 4 shows. So they was like, they cut you off, man. They was like, nope, no transitions, front, back, next, and get you off stage. I just happened to be extra lean, so it wouldn't matter. And I came 2/4 and then 2 seconds And they said that my shorts, and I didn't even know about that, posing shorts and stuff like that, especially in men's physique. If they say if I was tighter, I could pull it down, they could see my waist a little bit more, which was small, and I should have won. But I didn't know, you don't, stuff like that you don't know or pay attention to, but it do matter, So after that, you said when you decided to doing that first show right before Sydney, did y'all plan that?
No, we didn't plan that. So my coach actually puts on a show, the John Simmons Bodybuilding Championship here in Detroit, where I'm from.
Okay.
And it was never the plan to do it. But he knew I was quite nervous for Sid's show.
Yeah, of course.
So he had approached me and said, I want you to do my show about 6 months into training, and said, just use it strictly to get the jitters out.
Mm-hmm.
You go on stage, you'll go through the motions. How well you'll do, I don't know. He was confident I would do well, seeing that it was only a month apart from his show, Sydney's show. But he just wanted me to get that in there so that the first time walking the stage wasn't Sydney's show, which was super important to me. That was my whole goal, the whole purpose, and why I was training to begin with. So it was kind of just our warm-up.
Okay. And how did you look at that show compared to Sid? What you think, personally?
Personally, I think I looked good. I do. But I came in tighter for Sydney's show.
That's it. The more you compete, the better you get, and the better you start looking, more muscle fibers, stuff like that start coming out. And some people can do it. I don't know if it's age, because the older we get, I'm thinking sometimes the older we get, we need more shows to really make our body pop, and to a certain extent, once you get like some of these guys doing 6, 7, your body tired. But it's different, on our level, on the amateur level, you do a warm up and then you waited a good 4 weeks. So it wasn't like this week and then next week, you know what I mean? Which could be.
It gave me kind of that too. It gave me that idea of where I could improve on, what I can work on real fast. I have 4 weeks to get back in the gym and address any issues that we might have.
Oh yeah. What that is, a bird, a parrot back there?
That's a parrot. Of course, all the time I'm doing this.
What kind?
Green conure.
Okay. I think they just got one at the gym. I just don't know what it's called, but I know it talks.
Yeah, this one talks too. It'll say goodnight.
So, all right. After you competed, what's the positives you can take away from the show and this whole process?
Mostly the pride, man. You focus on something for so long, and you work your butt off, and you watch. Best way to describe it: people say you would think about bodybuilding as that's an individual sport.
Yes.
It is anything but.
Yeah. Okay, you need a team, right?
Every person around you. Without my wife constantly helping me cook and prepping my meals, everybody helping recover my body, going to the gym, picking up my slack at work, because I still run a business.
That's it.
I still work full time. There's no way you can achieve it. No one's doing this truly on their own.
No.
And to be able to do all of that and watch all the hard work of everybody, and then you go on stage and make them all proud and blow people's expectations and your own, that's the biggest takeaway, man.
How do it feel about winning your class, though? When you got the little first place, when they call you out there, how does it feel, when you, okay, I done did this?
It's overwhelming, man.
Yeah.
Like there's a part of you that wants to fist in the air and scream, and parts of you kind of want to break down and cry.
That's it. Did you cry though?
A little bit.
That's it. A lot of people, they don't think, but the feeling is like it's undescribable, right? You done prep for so long. They don't, some people still don't know that the sleep, the food, the work life, the family life, trying to find that balance and going into it. They don't see that part they just see you on stage. Okay, he looked good, say he win or whatever, or he places high. They don't understand the sacrifices that you make and your family makes to help you get on stage.
Like, I'll be honest, one of the biggest emotional parts of the whole thing was at my first show, with everything my family went through trying to get me there.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I was standing on stage, and it's hard to see through those lights sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're black.
Yeah.
Able to see through just a little, and I caught eye contact with my oldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She was screaming and yelling my name, and it messed me up. Like, and I was like, okay, you gotta look somewhere else.
Yeah.
Stage.
Yeah, they tell you to zone out. Don't look at them. If anything, look at the judges, because it's gonna mess you up a little bit, or throw you, especially if you're doing bodybuilding, classic, you're doing your routine. You don't want to mess that routine up. You know what I mean? But yeah, I understand it. I think my wife told me, we weren't married at the time, but my first show was like the Lee Haney games. And I was cheesing like a cheerleader, man. She was like, I was looking crazy on stage. Oh, but I was, excited. And they tell you to make sure you smile, especially men's physique. Classic bodybuilding is a little different. You can slow down a little bit. It's more about the grace. But for men's physique, you ain't got too much because you ain't showing your legs. It's just upper body, and you ain't up there long to make sure you smile. So, yeah, I still got video footage of it, and I laugh at myself, man. So I know it was a blessing. What'd your wife think, though? What did
She likes it. She enjoys the process to an extent. She doesn't like when I'm grumpy.
Yeah.
You start taking food, and I get a little angry.
Mood swings? Did you have them? Or anything?
All the time. During prep was hard. Like, you'd be up and down, and next thing you know, like, you're angry because you're so hungry, and then like 10 minutes later, you're like, I just want to eat.
How about your sleep? Did you have any issues with sleep?
I slept terribly, especially leading up into the shows is when I sleep the worst.
Yeah, and people don't understand it because your body is going in lower body fat. Either you cramping, it's trying to recover, stuff like that, and the lack of nutrients, your body. That's why they tell you, that recovery phase after a show is important. But just, you can't sleep when you're that lean and your body, is just tightening up, but you look good.
The second prep was so much worse for me on that because I flew to Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
I swell really, really bad when I fly.
Okay.
So we had to cut my water earlier than normal.
To prevent that. Which I did swell, but then I started cramping. And like 2 days leading up into the show. Well, at least you came in that early, because myself, say if I did NASA, I fly, I might be getting in just right at check-in time, and one other day I'm not coming, 2-3 days before. So I mean, that was a little bit because you know how your body works and just prevent that swelling. But I mean, you looked amazing, and you couldn't even tell, you know what I mean? Did you cramp up on stage a little bit?
I got lucky, and so my coach finally stepped in and was like, okay, we have to give you a little water.
Yeah.
And about an hour before we went on stage, she gave me a little bit of water, and that kind of curved it all. And after the show is when the cramps started kicking in again. And I was like, that's cool. I'm allowed to drink water now.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So what about any negatives from the show, or prep, or experience, or stuff that you seen while you was in prep that, maybe it could be personal, or what other people might not understand if you prepping for a show or stuff like that? Especially, it can be including your work life too.
Honestly, I think one of the biggest negatives, and this is going to sound crazy, I've only done 2 shows now, but the attitudes in the locker room, man.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are not good to each other. They're not supportive, nice, nothing. They isolate each other out. And it's really sad to see, because the gym culture in general needs to change.
Yes.
And that's what deters people away from the gym to begin with, because they think people are jerks.
Yeah.
But if somebody supports, and you're starting to see the curve in the gym of people coming up and helping each other with spotting or rooting them on. And that needs to happen in competition too. We're all there for the same reason. I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
In that same note, every one of us knows there's one winner.
That's it. It's one winner, and I started changing my mentality because we're not really competing against each other.
No.
The judge is going to pick who they like and who's the best. The only thing we can do is present our best shape, our best form, and what we got. You know, because they're going to tell you.
99% of everything. You can't change nothing once you get there.
That's it. Your work is already done. So ain't no need to get mad at me. You know, I used to reach out to people, talk to them, and I get it because we all pretty much, we need to eat. We all deprived. We pretty much stressed out from the prep of the show. Family, we ready to get it over with so we can have pretty much a normal life or go get some food in us. So I can understand, you know, the mentality of it. People want to zone out. But I done met some people who they kind of happy or they are willing to talk. And then you meet some and they kind of just grumpy and, you know, stuff like that. So I was like, well, maybe, and I can just guess, maybe they didn't have like the support system like you had or like I had leading up to the show. They by themselves or, you know, a lot of people who choose bodybuilding, they say they got issues or stuff like that. I did it because I love working out in fitness, but I actually love the sport. Now, getting on stage is different, but the process is what I love. You know, I do want to go pro, but the stage stuff, maybe for classic, but the men's physique, I can care less about me getting on stage in those pants because I don't think you get the recognition of the time that you need to present yourself. I think they pose and need to be a little bit different and longer because they do work hard. They're leaner. They're the best physiques that people want to attain to look like. And I think it's classic, which is getting bigger than bodybuilding now.
It really is. You're seeing it take over.
Oh man, it's taking, and I think at the Olympia this year, they're gonna change the prize level because Chris Bumstead is the biggest star out there. We all know it.
Oh, there is.
So I think they will raise it up, but I don't think they'll never lower the prize money of bodybuilding, if that makes sense.
No, they're not going to give up their cash.
What you think about that Big Ramen situation? You know, he had a guest pose and they ain't show up. Nobody heard from him.
Up in Pittsburgh. I mean, it's telling. You have to, in his apology, he says he has family issues going on. And all you can do is take him for his word on that.
Yeah.
I would assume
you can send a message, hey, I'm not coming.
That's where the problem is. Like you have representation. He does.
Nobody, that's what I'm saying. Say if I'm hearing all kind of rumors, he went to jail, whatever the case in military, you telling me that nobody can say, hey, he's not going to be able to make it over a week?
That's where it gets iffy because somebody could have said something.
Yeah, Dennis James was there. You talked to him the night before and said he getting on the plane the day after. So I don't get it. I don't think, even if he show up.
Yeah, because he already got lucky this year with winning. Because let's be honest, Curry looked better.
I thought so myself. I thought Curry won. But even if he show up better this year, I don't think he'll win. Either Nick Walker.
Curry won because Curry elevated where he was. Ramy changed nothing.
Yeah. No, he didn't. I mean, I thought he won.
And
but this year is going to be a toss-up.
Hadi is knocking at the door.
Yeah.
And then you got these young guns like Walker who, get ready, Nick Walker's going to be the future of the industry.
Yes. Now, I like Nick, but I also like Hunter.
Hey, you can go either way.
It's apples, you know what I mean, and bananas, whatever they want to call it. But Hunter shocked a lot of people because I don't think people recognize how big he was.
No. And then I'm telling you who to look out for too is Blanco.
Which one?
William Blanco.
Oh, Bonac.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he definitely coming back.
Because he looked like, to me, he won the Arnold.
He did win the Arnold, but they did penalize him because the guy knows.
And I'm a huge Curry fan.
I'm a huge Curry fan myself. But they penalized, they had to penalize him because he did have the guy know. Yeah. So, in the pros, they amateurs, they don't really care. But pros, they will knock you down, and that what hurt him. You know,
so I think he's coming back to show I'm still a contender. Don't cross me out. So I think he's gonna impress us this year. He may not win it all,
yeah,
but I think he's gonna do way better than people expect.
No, he gonna still be in that top 5. So the top 5 gonna be a toss up for me because I see this Hassan Mustafa lately. He never got shredded, and he's way bigger. Then they got I forgot the other guy. He with Muscle Meds. He a big guy. He was in the top 5 the year before last, but then he don't come in shape. Who they thought was gonna beat the Arnold and Nick
Winkler?
Who?
Is it Winkler?
No, not Rowley. He a dark skinned guy. He with Muscle Megs. I forgot his name. But yeah, if he come in shape, his legs is so Hakeem. I'm thinking his name is Hakeem with Muscle Megs.
Drawing a blank right now.
Yeah. But that top 5 is gonna be a beast. I just don't think Rami gonna win regardless.
I don't think he's gonna win, and I think this just hurt his chances even more of winning.
Yeah,
because
I want Curry to win.
That they don't judge that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know they do, strictly off the fact of Kai Green should have won twice, and he didn't. And I honestly believe Kai Green never won because they don't know what they're getting out of him.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know, and he's always a corporate man.
I just want to I hope that Curry do win because that'll be like history in the making, stuff like that. If he come in better than he did at that Arnold, he come in like the Arnold, he might place fourth or 5th, but he only trained, I think they said 8 to 10 weeks, you know, so he was on less gear and stuff like that. And he did it at the last minute, probably because it was a big paycheck. So I would have did it too, but he wasn't, you know, if you don't train for that small, he did come in undersized, but he still looked good enough to win. He can't do that to Olympia. He knows it. You know what I mean? So if he don't show up like that, then Nick, and I think Hunter, it's gonna be their show, man. One of them,
coming.
Yeah, one of them gonna take it, man. So I'm curious to see what happens.
It'll be a fun one this year for sure. For sure.
I was like, man, I want to see that. Let me see. Okay, which business do you operate?
So I own a company called the U.S. Apprehension and Bond Agency. We mainly focus in two major categories, and we do bail bonds up here in Detroit, which always filling our time because there's always somebody getting in trouble. But the real bigger side of our business is we do celebrity protection. So I used to have a big background in executive protection because military. I worked at Blackwater for a while, protecting U.S. ambassadors. So we came back to the States and kind of started that up here. So we work with different celebrity clients. I just got back from working with Jack Harlow at the Kentucky Derby and his album release party. I fly out to Puerto Rico a lot for a while. I was working with Anuel AA, who's a big Latin trap artist. So we work with just different celebrities traveling the country, and you know, it's a lot of fun. It makes you see some interesting stuff. You know, you're at a weird party when Drake is DJing it.
You right about that.